What do you do about student loans when it comes to divorce or separation? I'm Zachary C. Ashby at Pacific Northwest Family Law. I had this question posed to me the other day. Student loans can be tricky because they're one of the only loan type that you get when you're very young and that it can follow you to when you're very old. And so people are worried about student loans when it comes to divorce or separation, especially if those student loans had something to do with the relationship. There's a few different stages that happen when courts determine what to do with these student loans. First, it's going to ask, when did you incur these loans? So if these loans all came before you were married, that's going to be significant. If it happened while you were married, that's also going to be significant. And then after you've maybe separated or even filed for divorce, that's a different thing that's also going to be significant. Only loans that you got during the marriage are considered community property. Now, I know it's not property because it's a debt, but you can call it community debt as well. So in Washington State, community debts get split evenly, but separate debts, which is everything else that's not community, are usually reserved for the person who incurred the debt. So anything you bring into the marriage beforehand is going to be a separate debt. It can get a little bit complicated because what if you had debts before the marriage, but you got married in college? So some of those student loans are from during the marriage, and then you get a consolidation loan during the marriage so that it's all one thing that you got during the marriage. Well, then you're going to have to figure out the balance and interest, and there can be some complicated math to figure out how much of it is separate and how much is community property. Now, the second stage then is what's fair. So the courts aren't going to look at student loans isolated from everything else. It's going to look at the entire portfolio of assets and debts. So we're talking about houses, investments, retirement accounts, I don't know, the gold you have buried in the backyard. All of that is going to be part of the total assets, as will things like mortgages, credit cards, any kind of personal loans, cars, anything that are debts. And we're going to look at the balance. That's the easy part, and that's the numbers. The part that's soft and harder is things like how long you've been married, what's your relative income, how old are you, how long is it going to take to get other work or training. And there's a lot of those soft factors in family law that you have to work at. No, the more soft factors you have, frankly, the more you're going to need an attorney. But really what the more it becomes less clear of who is going to pay and how much you're going to pay those student loans. So for some examples, let's say you had student loans and started your career and didn't get married until well after college. You're probably going to have to pay those student loans back yourself, and they're not going to be part of any kind of division of the community assets and may only have a slight relationship to how everything else is divided. But let's say you had some student loans and it was mixed, and then you got married in college. Now you're getting a divorce and it's been a long time since you've been married. And maybe you've been the stay-at-home parent, even though you got the degree, and your partner has had the career and earns quite a bit more than you. Well, the court's going to take all that into consideration and decide what debts and how much is going to be fair. Now, what the court doesn't want is people left destitute because of a divorce or anything like that. So the actual division is going to look at maybe your spouse is going to pay a greater portion of the community property. You'll still have separate property, and that's what the court orders are going to be at. But it's going to be different, and it's going to be specific to your particular situation. And so if you do have student debts and you have a more complicated situation, you're really going to want to get an attorney to take a look at that so that you can know what your options are and what your expectations are in the context with all your assets and debts. So I hope that helps. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel and share this video with anyone who might need this kind of advice. Thank you.